Well, let's see how this looks. Evening, people watching this. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Nerfers of the world. Hello, Inquisitive Explorers. Welcome to this video. I need to preface this, if you can see me. Hello, I'm Treezy. I started doing what I'm doing on my desk well over an hour ago now, or a good hour and a half ago, and I then thought I better check my phone, which is what I'm recording on. It was ringing. I thought, I'm in the middle of doing a video, should it ring? Turns out I hadn't put it on video settings, so I took a photo of myself setting my camera up, and that is it. You've missed all sorts of drama and controversy and gossip. My sordid love affair with Drac that happened at Foam Fest. How Just Jolt took so much ecstasy that they could barely be revived. All sorts of drama. Anyway, the plan for this video was going to be a teardown of my primary HPA long shot that was working very well at the weekend, and then developed a fault. And I worked out roughly what the fault was, so I needed to rectify it. So I was hoping to do a bit of a teardown, repair, get it sorted, and while doing that, talk about the Foam Fest weekend, all the cool stuff that went on, the Quasar at Warrington, the actual Foam Fest convention on the Saturday at Wigan Stadium, and then Impact Northwest 2 at Blackpool on the Sunday. However, an hour and a half in, I've done a lot of what I needed to do, and I wasn't filming, so I apologise. I'm not going to go over everything that I did previously. I will touch on it, but possibly not as in depth. I had just got onto talking about Impact Northwest 2. So what I'll do is I'm going to do a quick recap of some stuff, and we'll just see how it goes. I've got some music playing in the background. If it's a bit too loud, I am sorry. There's also traffic going about outside. I live on the A48 and big main road. I've also got a little road next to me and very thin windows, so yeah, there'll be a lot of noise going on. So yeah, let me introduce you to my blaster. This is my HPA blaster. It is affectionately called Cyhyraeth. And now, I've not been one for naming blasters per se. I'm a little bit like Captain Xavier in that kind of blasters need to earn their name, as it were, rather than just go, I dubbed this the Vanquisher and it will vanquish all foes, and then it being a pile of crap. No, I like blasters to kind of get a bit of character before I'm going to give it a name. So yeah, Cyhyraeth, Welsh word. It comes from Welsh mythology, folklore, very much like the Banshee. The Banshee was this kind of mythical creature with crazy hair and sometimes pictured with wings, so that could be contributed to the harpy. But yeah, the whole idea with the Banshee is that it was there, it screamed and before you died, and so the scream of a Banshee was meant to signify the death of those that heard that scream. Cyhyraeth it's a Welsh sort of folklore that comes from that, and the idea is it's a disembodied voice that is heard before someone dies. So the idea is you don't see it. It's kind of almost a personification of something. You don't see. There's no body. There's no physical thing that you see screaming or saying your name, whatever. It's you hear this voice, and then you die. And that's very much representative of my blaster and my playstyle, in that it's a HPA blaster. It has a functioning suppressor, which is awesome. It is camouflaged. You see some of the shell is camouflaged. It's lovely fake moss stuff. One of the games we play at FFS, Foam Flinging Skirmish, it's held at an airsoft site in some woods. I wear a leaf suit. I've got camo. I hide a lot. I'm a bit of a skirmisher, so I hide myself away on the side of things and wait for people to kind of fall into my trap. And so it kind of is fitting that the only awareness that they have of their death is hearing a HPA blaster suppress, going thunk, and then, oh yeah, I'm tagged them out. So yeah, Cyhyraeth is the name of the blaster. Makes me a massive nerd. It's Welsh because I'm Welsh and I'm quite proud of my Welsh heritage. So I was looking at some other names that were I was looking at the Japanese kind of thing. The Japanese have these, I can't remember the life of me what they're called, but they have like these death spirits, and they're not just a single, not like we have the Grim Reaper, they have the spirits of death. So I was just thinking of naming it like that, and I was scrolling through stuff on the drive up to Foam Fest, sat in traffic, so I was like, right, not moving, on my phone, scrolling through, looking at kind of folklore and stuff, and came across Cyhyraeth, so that is what my blaster is named. I'm a nerd. But at least I don't LARP. I can say that my partner's a LARPer. So anyway, went up to events on the weekend, and on the Sunday my blaster was working really well. Feeds so smoothly, operates so well, just a joy to use. And then it stopped feeding smoothly, and the prime became rougher and rougher to the point where I could barely prime it. I got back to the safe area, which is still outside, it's exposed to the elements. It was rainy, it was hail, there was a lot of wind, it was cold. It was Blackpool in the north in March, what do I expect? But yeah, so I started stripping it apart, and I could see that, yeah, there's been some grit or some things got into the brass, and it's gouged it, and it's, the more I cycle through, the nastier it's getting. So I just pulled the bolt out, brass bolt inside there, just took it out, see it was scored on inside, that's it, game over for me. I can't be asked to walk back to the car to get my Springer long shot to rock that for the last game of the day, so called it a day there. And then I brought it home, I've opened it up, and I've been working on it this evening, and thankfully the problem is exactly what I thought it would be, in that the problem I was having is the brass coming from the exhaust. So this is the QEV here with an exhaust port here. As the bolt slides back over that, it was just getting stuck, so a piece of grit got inside there and it was horrendous and you could barely move it. So I've spent the last hour and a half talking bollocks and polishing that with various grits of paper. I am in dire need of more wet and dry paper. I have some on order, it hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, I've been working through it, and I'm now working on 2500 paper, which is very fine. I have some 3000 grit paper coming in the post soon, so that's going to make it even finer. So I'm basically just polishing up and just trying to take any marks and lumps and bumps out. The bolt is not perfectly smooth, and looks like, and I can see there's one or two little marks on it. However, my way of testing if things is smooth is literally let gravity drop it through, and it's stuck. Ironically, it's stuck. There we go. That is, it's dropping through on its own weight. There's a little bit of friction there. I think where I've been sanding this down, there was a score line up along here, which you're not going to see on the camera, but there was a score line there and one on the opposite side. That's kind of roughed it up. So I think where I've been sanding one side of it has potentially kind of made it not a perfect circle anymore. Likewise, going into there with wet and dry paper is difficult to get it exactly perfect, so there are some areas where it's not perfectly aligning, but otherwise it's dropping through, so that is good. I might give that another going over in a minute. So yeah, I'm using wet and dry paper, but I'm using it dry because I'm too lazy to go and wet it. And then I'm polishing up with trusty Brasso, giving it a clean with that, polishing it up, feeling how it is, and then more wet and dry if needed. I'm now doing the bolt receiver. So this piece here, those of you familiar with the long shot, it's that bit there. So mag in there, dart's caught by the dart finger here, helps it feed in there. 17-30 seconds with a bit of half-inch tucked inside it to reduce the bore. Basically help reduce bed space and allow a better airflow, or more efficient airflow, without constricting it too much. Into 9/16 sleeper breech. I did originally have this on a stock long shot bolt, one of the orange ones. However, I've got 2 printed lipless breeches kicking around doing nothing because while the breeches were lovely, the bolts were lovely rather, the system didn't work. I couldn't get to work efficiently, couldn't get to feed very well, not as well as I could with my other breech setups I had. So I've sacrificed these, reamed them out using a 9/16 reamer rather than drill because reamers are the future. They make life so much easier. And then I just cut the back of the lipless bolt off. So that goes into there. Oh, that is a bit sticky on the back there. Yeah, there's a few marks coming that you might be able to catch from the light. Just means I need to possibly ream that back of that a little bit more, or maybe even file it or something just to open the back end up. But it's fairly smooth. It's not as smooth as it could be, but it's practically pornographic, that is. Yeah, it will be better. I will be tinkering this evening. Yeah, there's something catching. Do that so I can score it. Oh, it's so fine. It's barely even leaving marks on the brass. Okay. Something in there is still a little bit crappy. Let's see what I can do about that. So that comes from the exhaust bolt, bolt receiver like so. Dart comes up there. This closes, slides forward to about yay. So airtight. Pop air through there. The rough, very rough setting up. So yeah. Dart pops up underneath there, you feed the bolt forward, that strips the bolt off rather than being a pusher system. Because this is 17-30 seconds, this acts as a basic dart gate, the dart can't go in there, it goes into there, nice and tight, pull the trigger, dumps the air, boom, out the other end it goes, brilliant, 250 SPS, lovely. That's that. What are you doing? Go back to the music. Good. Yes, I'm waffling and talking bollocks. Get used to it. This is what I'm planning to do with my illustrious YouTube career. So what was it about? Yeah, I don't want to go over everything that I just talked about, but I'm going to have to. Quasar, good fun, shits and giggles, nothing too serious. An unfortunate accident. Nicholas, I think his name is Suez, on the Britain forum, had come over from Denmark, I think, I'm fairly certain. Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, fairly certain he's Danish. I'm going to be completely wrong there. Yeah, he came over, took a ton, basically was running along. We weren't supposed to be running indoors, but also we're adults, so we're irresponsible. He was running along, a player stepped out, he bounced off that player, fell into a oil drum and split his eye, top of his sort of eyelid eyebrow right open. Lots of blood, dizziness, mild concussion, that kind of thing. They got him out of the arena nice and quickly, got first aid to sort him out, great. He seemed pretty okay afterwards, he was a bit green, but kind of by the time I came out and chatted and kind of done a quick recap of the match with the game with a few of my friends, and then was going over and seeing what's going on. He seemed pretty okay. Head wounds always bleed a lot. There wasn't that much blood, to be honest, for a head wound. And he, other than looking a little bit green, he was fairly with it. I have a lot of concussions under my belt, so I know what to expect. Falling off mountain bikes doing stupid stunts is a surefire way to get concussions. So yeah, but yeah, he went off to A&E, glorious British A&E. In Warrington on a Friday night, so it meant he didn't get seen for some time, but he got super glued up and was all good, and just had a late night basically, and a bit of a sore head the next morning without drinking. Good man. Yeah, so Quasar was a good laugh. I said no one took it too seriously. There were a lot of players, so the organisers very sensibly decided to run or split into 4 teams rather than 2 teams, and have 2 teams in at a time. It worked well, it was good, the games were nice and simple, and it was a laugh. So yeah, it was a good way to kind of break everyone into the the weekend, get into the spirit of things, and have a laugh. I have a basso cloth there. Met Drac as well. He played on my team. Nice chap. Not as tall as I thought he was going to be. But yeah, he got involved and had a laugh. So it was cool to kind of go, oh, YouTube celebrity. I think because a lot of the people at the event were of an older nature, there weren't like loads of kids there. There wasn't massive amounts of fanboying. Kind of, oh, you're a YouTube celebrity, oh, let me worship you. It was kind of like, oh, Trac's here, let's go play Nerf with him. Which was cool. I hope he had a nice time. He seemed to have a good time. He certainly got involved with It Quasar, so that was cool to see. Yeah, Foam Fest, the actual convention, was good. It was a great day. I'm going to say some things that might sound negative. They're really not meant to be negative. Please take it as constructive criticism. I don't want to bring down or to disregard the hard efforts that so many people put into putting off an awesome event. The big criticism that I have was that we got there, arrived downstairs, Finster and his dad signed us in. Lovely to see them both. They're always smiling, those two. So it was great to say hi. Upstairs, great. As soon as we came through the door, boom, Just a Jolt there. Hello, sign my dart. Would you like to buy a raffle ticket? Wah! Just a Jolt is brilliant. His enthusiasm, his excitement, his motivation, an excellent compare kind of character for the event. However, as you walk through those doors, it's a bit overwhelming. Talking to some of the parents and some of the kids that were going around as well that kind of aren't part of the Brit Nerf scene and don't know everyone, it was mentioned that it was kind of a bit overwhelming, that you come into that, so you've got a nervous kid and a mum that doesn't know anything about the hobby other than what the kids kind of got excited about, to be bombarded with that and then kind of go, boom, hello, excitement, and then off you go. It was just a little bit too much. So maybe kind of as you come in, just have like a little bit less going on in that area. Maybe a map of what tables are out there and what people are there. Like, oh, Drac's over there, so kids will go straight to Drac. But also, oh yeah, to kind of get them people. If you can get like a set loop around the arena or around the area, great. Or let people wander, that's fine. But yeah, just not so overwhelming as you come straight to the doors. I'm getting a shine on that. Nice. Yeah, that's my only kind of negative feedback for it. Again, it's good. I hope that's constructive at least. Otherwise, yeah, it was really good. It was good to see people. A lot of the stuff I've kind of seen online on Instagram or on Facebook, to see some of those blasters in person. Some of the guys that came over from the continent, from Germany and the surrounding areas. Their stuff is so nice. Their cosmetic mod game is up there, like seriously up there. Yeah, it was good to see the Foam Alliance guys there, Bristol Blasts, FFS organisers there. The shout out to Kieran, Newport Nerf 113. His Bristol Blast FFS video with FTS Tom on there, that was awesome. Having that running all day really kind of, it drew people in, people wanted to watch it, and it was a very good video. The foam flinging skirmish part in particular was really dynamic, really exciting. Watching kind of the smokes flying through the air, smoke grenades flying through the air, and people running and tagging reviving players and ducking out from behind trees, and then these clouds of smoke with players walking through. Really atmospheric, really kind of got me excited for it. And I know certain other people were like, wow, that's so cool, like using smoke grenades and stuff. Yes, it's an adult, 16 plus event, but it encourages people. And then to have that next to Foam Alliance guys were HPA blasters, high powered springers, the cool sniper stuff, that's encouraging for kids to go, oh, this can be a thing. And people kind of joke about there's no such thing as a Nerf sniper, and then you kind of go, yes there is. Check out my HPA, check out James's HPA, check out Pete's springers and Pete's HPA. They're high powered, accurate Nerf is here. It has been for a little while, but I think it's going to start to grow rapidly now. especially with some of the ultra stock games in the UK that are, well, you can have a 200 FPS full auto blaster, or like an FDL or something, or a bit less than 200, but playing in the woods against high powered blasters makes you think about your playstyle, makes you really work. You can't just rely on, I can lay down a huge amount of firepower, because when you're playing for an hour and a half, you need to conserve ammo. You can't just be like, I'm going to rain down darts on that person behind that bit there. You need to choose your shots, you need to work as a team to get someone to go round, to flank them, to take them out from behind, or to make them keep their head down so you can get past them to achieve an objective, whatever. It's no longer just whoever can rain down the most darts at the fastest time wins, which is good. That's a really good thing to see for Nerf. It promotes more tactical play, it promotes their thinking, and it's not just who's got the most expensive blaster can win. You can pick up a Caliban or a Worker Holy Sword now for just under 100 notes, just over 100 notes, and you can go to a UK ultra stock game and you can dominate with that. You pay, Christ, good lipo, cage, high brush cage, motors, wheels, wiring, all that. You're looking 50, 60 quid plus, more sometimes, just to get a flywheel up to 150, 160 FPS. And then you would pay for loads of mags as well, and they're expensive. Whereas, 6 katanas or talons and a Caliban, and you're up there with the rest of the Nerf snipers, and it's accurate as balls as well. So great. I've forgotten what I was saying now. Yes. Film Nuts UK guys, they're high-powered stuff. Great to see. Team Tropical Thunder, always a pleasure to see them. Love that they are so exuberant and over the top, but have some really high-quality, good-looking mods and appearing blasters. So yeah, good to see them. They're always a giggle. Lots of other stuff going on throughout the day. So yeah, it was good. What could have been done to improve it other than kind of having a bit of a slightly better structured entry point? I don't really know. Just Jolt was great as a compare for the day, getting people kind of, hello, we're doing this thing now, come and do this thing. Great, you need someone like that to kind of to be the compare for that. The organisers did a fantastic job in making sure it ran smoothly. I don't know, anything else that kind of would work is just going to be a bonus. It did work as it was, and I'm sure as and when people put on another one, it will be just as much a success, if not more. Me and the rest of the Film Alliance crew, or most of the Film Alliance crew at least anyway, we were staying locally, we were up in Blackpool in an Airbnb, so we went back there that night. James had more Calibans to build for people, because he is Mr. UK Caliban. He's also Mr. HPA UK, it would seem. He had stuff to do. People had some soldering going on, some stuff to mod, some stuff to tinker with and try and get finished. I took apart my blaster and wiped down the brass a little bit, put it back together, and went to sat in the hot tub for the rest of the evening and had a lovely time indeed. 8 people in that hot tub. It's not designed for 8 people, but you can fit 8 people in there. Certainly got very intimate, not in a kinky or sexual way, just in a, we can't all have separate seats, you're going to have to touch someone kind of way. So yeah, it was good, friendly vibes, and much fun was had. Impact Northwest the next day, Impact Northwest 2 The Revenge the next day rather. What I'm going to say, I don't want to be taken personally. It's not criticism of any one person or group of people. It's just kind of a recognition of what happened, and maybe some of it can be taken away as constructive of, okay, how to build on it for next time. Impact Northwest 1 was brilliant. I was shocked by how well it worked, how smooth it was, how many games we got in, how everything operated brilliantly. Had a great time. Impact Northwest 2 unfortunately left a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. Whether it's because I had high expectations from INW1, I don't know. Specific things that kind of I want to mention, that things like we arrived at 9 o'clock. Everyone's told to arrive at 9 o'clock, so a lot of us got there nice and early. Great. The Foam Alliance guys, myself and the other guys, we know our kit. We're pretty good at getting it on, being ready quickly. We do that first, then can pot around and talk to people and have a look at people's blasters and blah 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 blah. As people are turning up, they're going off and getting ready. Great. We then had to do a safety briefing. Once everyone was there, or the people that were going to be there were there, the usual kind of safety briefing. Don't be a dick. Don't climb on buildings and fall through and hurt yourself. If you do, we're not liable. Be careful. It's wet outside. Wear some boots. Wear eye pro at all times. That kind of thing. It's common sense. They're very often the same for wherever you go in the UK. We need to repeat them. I understand there's this need to kind of go, for insurance purposes, make sure it's all repeated. Great. But then to do that and then do loading darts up, that just seemed like, are we not ready to go yet? So my suggestion would be have darts available right from the off, because a lot of people will come in and can load up straight away. Be clear and say, right, no firing in the safe room. If you want to fire, go outside. But yeah, no magazine blasters in the safe room, that kind of thing, for the safety point of view. I mean, we do it at other events. I know Bristol Blast, we do it. I know Filtering and Skirmish, we do it, in that you turn up, you load up your mags, you load up yourself, you kit up, then you do your safety briefing, then you've got 5-10 minutes just to kind of finish off, and then you go play. That speeds things up. So I would thoroughly recommend that the organisers maybe look at that and consider that for next time, and kind of a way to speed things up. I know there were delays, I know there were issues with people arriving late or not arriving at all. The other option that I mentioned earlier in the earlier video that I fucked up, maybe when people come in to sign in, hold them until you've got 4 or 5 people, then do your safety briefing there with a group of them. It's generic, everyone knows it, but as you're getting people to sign the disclaimer, just go through, just say, they don't have to listen, but if you're doing that, you've got their attention, they're not distracted by filling their blaster or chatting with their mates, they're there, don't let them go until they've had that briefing, then you can then get them to actually sign. So say, here's your briefing, now you can sign, now you can bugger off, go fill your darts, go fill your mags with darts, go and load up, go and chat with your mates, whatever. And then have a time frame as well to kind of say, right, okay, we aim to start at this time, people need to be ready. So you can call people together fairly and go, right, okay, this is going to be the first game, we'll be outside in 10 minutes. If you're late, you're late. If you're not loaded up, tough shit. Get out there, get that first game going, because that gets this feel for the day going. And then if you have a kind of schedule that you want to run, you don't have to share it with everyone, but if you know what you want to do, go, okay, we're going to do this game and this game and this game. And then build in, say, 40 minutes between the games, because that gives time for a dart sweep, load up, blah, blah. But that means that if you start 10 minutes late, you knock 10 minutes off the first interim time, so it's 30 minutes to dart sweep, load up, get ready, do a briefing and all that kind of thing. And maybe as soon as you finish one game, do your briefing for the next game, and then say, right, 30 minutes until the next game starts, make sure you're loaded up, make sure you've dart swept, we're starting whether you're ready or not. I think that's kind of a common thing that I personally feel that the UK team would benefit from, was kind of, rather than sitting around and kind of waiting for everyone to be loaded, is everyone loaded yet? Is everyone loaded yet? Oh, we all loaded, are we ready? Tell people what the game is first. Go through the rules. Most people, especially if it's basic games like Kill Confirm, Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, Flood, people know the rules anyway. It's only the newbies that aren't fully familiar with them. So yeah, do your briefing, then get people to load up and faff around and bang and fastback and do all the things they do. Those people that aren't fully sure or want to ask questions can come and ask questions of the organisers then. Oh, we're getting there. That is rather smooth. Oops. Yeah, that's when they can come and ask questions and stuff and clarify details. and then you can get the game started and keep that flow, keep that pace up. I understand INW2, there was problems with it raining, and had been raining previously, wet weather, a lot of wind, uncertainty, no contingency, or didn't seem like there was a contingency plan. If there was, I'm not saying you're bad people, I'm just saying it didn't appear that they were kind of was the level of organisation that was present at the first event. But you guys did a good job. I'm not taking that away from you. The people organising it, you did a fantastic job. You made everyone feel welcome, and you did, at the end of the day, the best given the circumstances. Yeah, the bomb game didn't work as well. Well, no, it's not true. The bomb game did work. The problems we had, and this is from what I heard other people saying and stuff, is when you introduced the rules for it, we've borrowed this from the Kiln. We played the bomb game at the Kiln. It worked very well. It was a great game. At the Kiln, both teams were attacking. Both teams were trying to set off the bomb, or trying to arm it and then set it off. There were a lot of questions at IW2 about, okay, well, what if one team wants to disarm it, and then how do they arm it, and blah blah. It only then became apparent that, no, what we're doing is there's one team attacking, one team defending, and then we will play the game again in reverse. Had that been cleared up initially, I think a lot of those questions would have been superfluous and wouldn't have been asked. So yeah, if you're able to, as an event organiser, put out rules for kind of the more complex games online on a Facebook group or written in or forum posts or whatever, get them online if you can ahead of time, because it gives people time to familiarise themselves, think of any questions, double check things online first. If you can't do that, then at least have a written copy of the rules that you can reference yourself, so you can read through rather than kind of going, oh, this happens, this happens, this happens, and then someone asks a question, and you go, oh yeah, well no, this happens. Oh well, oh yeah, I forgot to explain this, and so yeah, have a kind of a formulaic set of rules, and then people can ask questions to clarify stuff, and hopefully you'd already answered that. But again, try not to get bogged down in the detail of trying to cover every single base, because people will always ask questions because they haven't listened or they don't understand. That might not be their own fault for not understanding it, because they just might not have got the gist of what the objective is or something like that. And not everyone's trying to kind of be an edgelord and go, well, can I do this and can I do that because it's going to give me an advantage. What I think a lot of people are trying to do is, yes, we might say it in a cheeky fashion of, oh, can I do this? Can I move this objective and stop the opposition from getting? Can I hide it in the bushes? It's also just trying to make sure that when we play the game, we're not having to stop it all the time to kind of go, oh, this isn't working, let's change it, or letting it play the course. And one team having a shit time because of a simple, one overlooked thing of, oh, well, that player's gone off and hidden it because it didn't say he couldn't, and he's not being a dick. It's kind of in theme with the game of, oh, I'm trying to defend this and stop them from getting it. If it was real life, I'd move the frigging thing. So yeah, just people will always want to explore the rules and that kind of thing. So I feel being prepared to have as many bases of code as possible beforehand may help avoid some of that. I can't remember if I've just brassoed this or not, but I'm going to clean it again because I like shiny brass. I feel bad for saying this, and again, this isn't a slight on the organisers, but the best part of the day for me was the lunchtime games we organised ourselves in the woods. Primarily because that's the type of gameplay I like. I like the sneaky round, I like the kind of tactical, having to think of where is the enemy coming from. I can't just walk from here to there, I need to be using every inch of cover because I'm against people with high-powered, accurate springers. Or I'm against someone that has the ability to dump darts at me if I'm sat out in the open for more than a second. And I'm not. Well, I can sometimes hope that a HPA sniper might miss with their first shot and give away their position, so I can get hidden from them and line up a shot on them before they can get off their second one. A full auto blaster firing 150, 180 FPS at 14 darts a second. I don't get a second chance to move that. I need to not be hit, and I can't guarantee that every single one of those 22 darts or 18 darts is going to miss. It's more likely one of those buggers is going to hit me. So I need to, that kind of tactical play, the thinking of where I am on the battlefield, where other players are or may be, how I'm going to get around them, how are they going to potentially come around me, keeping an eye on, and especially we played a couple of games where it was just 2 people on each team, single life on each team, but I mean 6 teams at one point, so it was kind of, you have to be aware of so many things, covering yourself, putting yourself into a good position to take a killing shot on someone, and making sure that you're not sighted and tagged out by the other team. So I love that kind of thing. That's kind of my preferred play style. I understand it's not for everyone, but that's why that kind of was part of the fun part of the day for me, or the best part of the day. Also, because we're in the woods, there wasn't as much wind, so it meant that us snipers, and of which there were quite a few on the day, could really let loose and have these stupidly accurate, high-powered shots, which is good fun for us. What I was suggesting to a few of my colleagues, I think maybe something to bear in mind is the weather was crap and there was no getting away from it. Maybe we could have actually broken down. They did what Crazy did, broken down the big group into some smaller groups and play shorter games that are kind of simple objective based, like King of the Hill or Flux, or random timed team deathmatch, that kind of thing. Have 2 or maybe 3 teams playing in that small area, but teams of like 5 to 8 people, so not loads of them, and that way there's brass one here. That way that people can cycle through quite quickly. You can play a game and it's over quite quickly, and the next team's already the next 2 teams are already loaded up. They can come straight on. You finish your game, 5-minute dart sweep, just pick up the worst of them, boom, next team's going on. The teams that have been playing, they can go and grab a bite to eat, reload, and then watch from the sidelines. And I think that kind of thing in those circumstances would have worked very well. Some of the players with the kind of the full auto flame flingers may not have appreciated that, but again, smaller teams forces you to kind of become more adaptive and work together in your play style. So things like, okay, because it was a small engagement distance, your high-powered full autos and semi-autos are able to kind of lay down suppressive fire, allowing people to, your fast-moving players, to run into steal an objective, or to get past someone that was pinning them down with a caliber or something like that, to get to where they need to be, to then get a shot on someone. So I think that could have worked for everyone involved. And again, you can cycle through what players play with who, so that people get a chance to experience different players playing alongside different people, different play styles. It encourages kind of teamwork and tactics and that palaver. And having spoken to several of the Foam Alliance UK guys, we want to get some woods of our own and want to find somewhere where we can do that, because it was really good fun. I've posted on the forum recently to put out feelers, because there's 2 paintball sites local to me. One of them I can almost guarantee is going to be a yes, and the other one is a possibility. And I live in a rural area where friends have dads who have farms who have lots of forest and like woodlands and stuff, and they'll be happy for us to go play in the woods because it's private land. We can do what we want. Yay! As long as we're all just like, okay, we're adults, we're gonna not sue you if something goes wrong, unless obviously you've got like unexploded landmines on your land or something like that. But if we fall over in a badger hole and twist our ankle, that's our own frigging fault. So I think that kind of thing could have worked really well at Impact Northwest 2 as a contingency because of the crap weather. Yes, it was sunny in the afternoon, but that wind was just killer, and I think it really it sucked a little bit, and I think it sucked the spirit out of a lot of people. I can't speak for everyone, but I got the impression that some people didn't want to be there. I know at one point I was seriously considering just going, sod it, I'm done, I'm going to go home now, because I'd loaded up, I'd sat around while I'd loaded up, I'd finished loading, I'm sat around, people still talking, they're not loaded, and then I didn't go, oh, okay, well, I'm waiting for the game brief, or what game we're playing next, what we're doing next. Do I need to take my bag with me up to the safe zone? I just felt like, do you know what? I'm cold, I'm tired, I've had a good weekend so far. Maybe if I just bugger off, I can be home early and have an early night. As it was, I stayed to the end. It was good. The pushback game was like shooting fish in a barrel. I feel bad for the opposition because of that. But also, we won. Well, we didn't win, but we survived for a freaking long time. And it was a real shame that my blaster balked itself in that game, because I would have liked to see it through to the end. I was hoping I could have got back, because I was only just on my second respawn. So had I got back in, I would have been coming in behind the enemy and creating chaos. Such is my way. As it was, the only assistance I could be was to warn my fellow players of a sneaky attack by certain people coming around the safe zone. Totally legit. I then got shouted at for dead men tell no tales, but I had to point out I wasn't dead. I was still in the game, just had a malfunction. So yeah, that was cool. So yeah, overall, it was a good weekend, and I look forward to FilmFest 2020. Later in the year, August Bank Holiday, we've got Kiln 2, which is going to be brilliant. That was such a good event, the first one. And we've also got INW 3, double header weekend. So we're already discussing Film Alliance UK crew, and Bristol Blast and FFS crew. The Southwest crew are already discussing making a big weekend of it, coming up, getting an Airbnb or a hotel or something, and doing both of the events again, because that would be cool. This barrel is manky as balls. Let's give this a clean while I'm here. Bear with me while I try and find my bottle cleaner brush. Oh, so many boxes of crap in my workshop. Right. People what have sealed breeches and long barrels. Bottle cleaning brushes are brilliant. Go and get yourself one. They can be folded up nice and small. They can slip inside a pocket or a side of a dump pouch. You know, loads of kind of tactical pouches now have these tiny little pockets on the side. You're like, well, what's good that for? I don't need a credit card mid-battle. However, one of these rolled right up, tied up into it, brilliant, because you can just whip them out. They have enough kind of integrity to be crammed down a barrel to clean it out. If you've got blockages or anything, you get them out. They're not the longest thing in the world, so if you have a super long Caliburn barrel, they might not go in there, but they will go in most things. I've had to put a dart tip on the end of this one just because it's got bare metal ends, but it's useful for clearing blockages. If you haven't got a stiff rod mid-game on you to poke through, that can be carried in a pocket. You can basically duck into cover, do what you need to do, and be back in the game without having to wander off to a safe zone or find a bit of stick or something, which I've seen players do, myself included, in the middle of the woods to try and ram things out of your barrel. So, have a tinker now with this and see if I can push some crap out of this barrel. Let's cut this a little bit smaller, smallest bit. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts and feelings on the weekend just gone. As I said, when I recorded earlier, thought I was recording earlier, I spoke at length on a lot of things. And while I'm a cynic at heart, I'm very cynical about things. I'm always looking at kind of, I acknowledge things are great. Like FilmFest weekend was great, FilmFest event was great, Quasar was great, Impact Northwest 2 was good. For me, it wasn't great. I know others had a whale of a time, so it's a personal thing. That doesn't detract from the event, the hard work the organisers put in. I can't express enough how appreciative I am for people that put on events. As I said, having organised my own events, non-Nerf events, I know the problems with organising these things. I know how much hard work goes in and how much stress there is on the run up to it, and what little you get out of it in terms of financial reward or even recognition. I know a lot of people don't do it for recognition, they just do it for the... it speaks volumes, they do it for the community. That just speaks volumes about how passionate people are. If we didn't put on these events, they wouldn't be there, we wouldn't have this community. So hats off to anyone that organises an event. whether it runs smoothly, whether it doesn't run smoothly, whether it is deemed a huge success, whether it is deemed could do better. Oh my god, the inside of the barrel is horrible. Yes, however it is deemed, thank you for putting on events and all your hard work. But yes, I can be a bit of a cynic at times. I will pick holes in everything. I don't want that to detract from kind of people's hard efforts, so I need to say that first. But yeah, me being a cynic, everything can be improved. There's always ways to make things work better, to make things less effort, to make things clearer, run smoother, whatever. So I think it's good to be able to reflect on things like this. And again, try and remain as objective as possible, rather than kind of being like, oh, it was shit because I don't like the organisers, and I got wet shoes and someone tagged me and I don't think they tagged me, and I think it's important to kind of take those things out of the situation. Use a stick now. Take those things out of the situation and kind of be honest with it and look at what worked and what didn't work, and take what you can from that. And as an event organiser, myself, having done things, any feedback is good feedback, even if people are going, oh, it was shit. Well, why was it shit? What about it made you want to say that? Like, for a lot of people, they go, oh, it was crap, I probably won't go back there again if it was a bad event. And that kind of feedback, the non-attendance as feedback is, okay, your footfall counts a lot, but sometimes it could be a simple fix, like, oh, if you'd done this, then things would be better. Then tell me. Tell the event organisers they did. If they don't get any critical feedback, any criticism, any negative feedback, they're going to assume everything's right. And if everyone, if no one says it, so they get some praise and go, oh yeah, you did really great event, whatever. And then the numbers start dropping off because those people that don't express an opinion and are afraid to, not necessarily afraid, but well, for whatever reasons, don't give any criticism of it. The numbers start dropping off and people go, well, oh, it's not our fault, it's the community. It's not our event, it's the community. The community isn't interested, the community is lazy. And I'm not going to say this is explicitly about the Nerf community as a whole, but I see it in many other aspects of various hobbies and interests that I have, in that events will get good, get lots of people, and then they become de rigueur, or there's lots of events for a certain sort of thing, so it's okay, well, I won't go to that event because I want to support this event, or I went there last month, so I'm going to go to a different one. So, or, oh, do you know what, I had a bad time there, and you know what, I'll give it a miss for the next month or two. So without that kind of feedback to event organisers, they're just going to, they don't know why their events lack support when they might have been a really good event. And again, if the only feedback they get is, your event is amazing, but then the numbers drop, yeah, so I like to think that cynics like me play our part in keeping people aware of what is going on. Or it could just be I'm a grumpy sod. Who knows? So I'm just rodding this out. I don't even know if you can see my face in this video. It's going to be, I don't know whether I want it, an hour of me chatting shit on YouTube to be broadcast, but if it is, it is. And it is what it is. Good old Pledge. Let's clean my barrels with Pledge. Oh, lovely. So yeah, me being a cynic, I'd like to think is a benefit to the community as a whole. But I also don't want to become that guy that's like, oh well, Treezy's just a dick for the sake of being a dick. So I do try and be impartial and honest and fair where possible. That's a bit cleaner. Look at all that lovely green gunk. As I said, this barrel was polished and clean before Sunday, and that is the result from Sunday. I will continue cleaning now. So So back to my blaster then. I've talked enough about the weekend. I'm sure you're all bored of it. If you were there, you were there. It was great. If you weren't there, why not go next year? And if you don't have any events to go to, and you can't travel and whatever, there's nothing near you, organise something. Even if it is half a dozen of you. As if you can get half a dozen people, that's 3 per side. That's enough to have a good game. You can play with smaller numbers. Sometimes it's easier to play harder games or more complex games because everyone can have an understanding. If you've got 30 screaming kids and you're trying to explain a multi-objective game where you need to get this bit to here and then input this code, blah blah, they're going, I don't understand. Oh, let me shoot you in the face with a jolt. Yeah, it can be not conducive, but with small numbers, okay, multi-objective games. Kind of sequenced outcomes of, okay, well, if you can, whichever team gets this first then needs to do this, that's their objective, and then the other team then has to react accordingly. Those kind of things will work better with smaller numbers, as we're finding at things like FFS, where 10, 11 people per side. And I say we, I'm not one of the organisers. I just have a lot of ideas. Yeah, we're seeing kind of an evolution of more of people working together more, of more tactical play and more involved styles of play. So yeah, if you've got half a dozen of you, if you can find a park to go play in, great. Keep it sub 130. Don't do all black blasters in public. Don't wear just camo and all your tap gear in public. Maybe let the local police know it's a good idea. Make sure everyone's got eye probe. Make sure if you can, maybe section an area off or stop play when passers-by come near. Maybe have some leaflets or cards or something to promote kind of your group, and then if people go, oh, how do I get involved? Oh, here you go. Here's a Britnerf. Here's the Britnerf page. Here's our local Facebook group. Those kind of things are a great idea to get a great way to get people involved, passers-by involved. Yeah. So, but if there isn't a game near you, organise one. That's basically what I'm saying. It's not the easiest thing to do, and sometimes it can be daunting to get started. However, the Britnerf community is an amazing community. If you want to start something, they will help. They will send you darts. They will give you advice, and their advice is based on running their own events, attending events that other people have run around the country. I mean, some of us people, we're travelling to Scotland. We're travelling to Essex, and we're travelling to Warminster and Southampton and Bristol and all over the country, and there are people that are doing it on a monthly basis, so they're getting a good mix of experiences. So that wealth of experience is invaluable if you want to tap it as a resource. So yeah, go on Britnerf and tap it. There we go. I think this will probably, it's looking fairly clean to me. That is fairly shiny inside there. Can't see any more gunk inside. That will do it. Right. Blaster reassemble! Fingers crossed this is going to be nice.